Hello, and you're welcome to the second part of the Under Center podcast. We are continuing looking ahead to Thursday night football. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to take on the Cleveland Browns in an AFC North matchup. To look at the Steelers side of things of this game, we are delighted to be joined from the Steel City Insider. It is Jim Wexell. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, we are delighted to speak to you for sure, and we are really looking forward to this game tonight as well. I don't know if you got to see last Thursday night's game, but what have you made of the sort of Amazon now presentation that we're getting?
I haven't seen it. No, I do have a Prime, so I am ready with a subscription if needed, but I can't comment on it. I don't know. You tell me.
It's been pretty good. Now, over this side of the water, we kind of really wouldn't get it as in depth as you would.
Okay.
Obviously, we sort of stick to the Game Pass, and that's how we sort of get our NFL content in. So we don't get as many of the game blackouts as you would if you had the Game Pass over in America due to TV rights. But yeah, from what I've seen, I on the short clips on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that, it seems to be going down well, with people. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes now on Thursday. But we're not here to talk about Amazon. We're here to talk about the Steelers. And it's been quite an interesting start to the season for the team. They had that crazy overtime win in Cincinnati against the Bengals on week 1, and then this past Sunday, quite disappointing 17-14 loss against the Patriots. And sort of as a whole so far in these first 2 weeks, I know it's kind of tough to, put proper judgment on it, but how have you felt the team has been?
Well, they're one play away from being 2-0, one play away from being 0-2. Yeah. It's the offense, and we knew it would be. The new quarterback, new offensive line, the running backs either injured, too heavy, overtrained, or doesn't trust his new offensive line. The offensive coordinator isn't putting all the new pieces together yet. And there's a lot of blame flying around the Steel City, as you put it. Everybody's trying to find the villain here because the offense can't move the ball consistently. And they have a lot of high paid. Well, I guess they're not high paid yet, but they're highly drafted offensive skill players.
Yeah.
And, and the quarterback is in a really no win situation. We could talk about that too.
Well, yeah, and let's have a chat about the offense. And like you said, they rightly have sort of struggled in these first 2 weeks. And it got to a point in the game on Sunday where you could hear the crowd even on the TV broadcast, shouting for Kenny and hoping to get, rookie Kenny Pickett in a quarterback instead of Mitch Trubisky. You wrote an article actually as well this week, looking at sort of the offense and who's seems to be to blame, like you're saying, looking for the villain. Where do you come down on the offense, and who would you think is at fault for the struggles at the moment?
Um, the quarterback hasn't played well, but he's new. And not that I expect him to play all that much better. He's kind of been who he is. He doesn't make many mistakes, but he's also not lighting it up the way Kenny Pickett can. Um, if the coach was sure he wouldn't make rookie mistakes. So the coach is waiting until the rookie, his first round pick, who he loves, they all love, they want to get the first round pick in. A coach isn't going to throw a rookie quarterback in until he's ready. And only the coach knows what Kenny Pickett knows and doesn't know, and how prepared he fully is. The preseason, he looked great, but everything looked rather simple for him. And so I have a feeling he's not there yet. And also, the coach doesn't want to make the move too soon. Now, and in Trubisky's behalf, he was never going to have a shot here as far as winning the fans over. He's replacing a legend. Probably it's a tough town on quarterbacks. He's replacing the only guy who's never booed by this town, and he's a legend, Ben Roethlisberger, and he's preceding a local college star out of the University of Pittsburgh in the first round draft pick, who played great in the preseason. Mitch Trubisky has no chance to win these fans over. None. He's in the toughest situation any quarterback I've ever seen, following a legend and preceding a local college star number one pick.
Yeah.
So, but Mitch does have the temperament. He does have the, he understands his situation. He's not going to let it get to him. He's going to keep working, and the coach understands that too. And I was down there today, and all the receivers came out of a meeting at one time, and they were all similar in that they all talked about teamwork, wanting to pull together and not harass the quarterback about what plays to call. Throw me the ball. They're all. It seemed like they all just got reamed out. Mm-hmm. And as Mitch said after the game, we've all got to stay on the same page, and we've got to buy in to the offensive coordinator's plan. And that's the other villain, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and Coach Canada came into a lot of criticism even last year with Roethlisberger's last year too. How with your ears sort of to the ground down there, is there sort of any rumblings at all that a change could be made if the offensive struggles continue, especially on the coaching side?
Well, the coaching side won't change. That won't change until the offseason. They're not going to fire a coach in the middle of the year. Now, the quarterback change is possible, but unlikely. Knowing Mike Tomlin, he's going to stick with this guy for a while. But the offensive coordinator, there are rumblings that his plans in the passing game are not professional level. That he's being called a college coach. He's trying to do different things with the running game. The motion and the sweeps, the jet sweeps, at times work, but also they don't really move people out of the box. And that's the problem. The front wall is just too congested. And they need a deep passing game to back people off. They need passes over the middle. And that's been the criticism, deep and not over the middle. Although both have occurred to varying degrees of success. The one interception Trubisky has thrown this year was over the middle, and the linebacker got lucky, dropped into coverage, and tipped it up. So they have a point not challenging the middle at times with the new offense. But I think both the quarterback and the coordinator are getting equal blame. One because he's in front of the rookie, and the other because his passing game, his approach lacks sophistication, lacks professional sophistication.
Mm-hmm. He has, though, had some success, Trubisky, especially with the tight end Pat Freiermuth. And especially you'd like that if he's struggling to throw it down the middle. He has that outlet there in Freiermuth, who's played well the start of this year. And could we see sort of more of that now on Thursday night, where he will target the tight end more maybe than the wide receivers?
Yeah, I mean, the touchdown last week was over the middle to Freiermuth. So there has been some success in that regard. And Freiermuth is tough, sure-handed. He's all of the he's got it all. Yeah, we'd like to see more. And Cleveland doesn't have the free safety that both Cincinnati and New England had exceptional safeties, free safeties. Cleveland, not so much. So maybe they won't be as afraid to challenge the middle. They didn't want to mess with McCourty. He leads all NFL players with in interceptions, all active players. He's got 31 interceptions, and they didn't want to challenge him. But this week, maybe you're right. Maybe that's the way to go. Now is the time to challenge the middle.
Staying with the offense, and you mentioned there with the running back, of course, Najee Harris, who has sort of, failed at the moment to live up to the numbers that a lot of people have hyped him for. And what are you putting that down to? Is it, I think you mentioned there that he was maybe a little heavy during camp, or is it maybe this offensive line struggles that are not helping? Or like you mentioned, I think you said earlier that he may not trust the offensive line to give him
Right.
the gaps that he needs.
Well, there have been plays where it's been illustrated that he doesn't trust the line, but the line is blocking well. He should trust them more. So is that a factor? I don't know. The being too heavy, I think. I mean, it's not from sloth. He's not a sports writer. It's from working too hard. I believe. I believe he's added too much weight. This is just a theory, only because either that or his foot's still hurting him from the training camp. But he just looks so sluggish. His legs look dead. He doesn't look like the guy he was last year. And Mike Tomlin gets these running backs to lose weight all the time. Le'Veon Bell lost a lot of weight and became outstanding. Najee has added. He's 244, all muscle, but maybe he overtrained. And I believe in overtraining. I believe you have to. He's a workaholic. They can't get him off the field. And I think maybe he needs to get off the field. Get off your feet. Go rest your body. Take care of your body in a different way by resting it. Let your workouts heal. Don't work out so long. He was talking in the off season. I forget what player it was. We had just talked to Najee, and he talked about 5-hour lifting sessions, and we were talking to another player about, hey, you ever work out? And the guy says, I tell you, I have no need to work out for 5 hours. And I've always believed that too. And I'm just a reporter, so of course I believe that. But I just wonder if he is overtrained. Troy Polamalu used to, he thought one year he overtrained, and he thought it cost him. He came in bigger, more muscular, thought he was ready for a great season, but his whole body was flat. He was just flat.
Yeah. Looking then on the other side of the ball ahead of this game and on defense, and the big miss is obviously TJ Watt. Sort of his presence was missed even going back to Sunday, I think, because looking at even the box score and sort of looking at the game itself as well, Mac Jones wasn't sacked at all in the game. I think there was only 3 QB hits in the game too, and that's something that they're going to have to sort of improve in these next couple of weeks until he's fit to come back.
Pass rushes are always helped by the home crowd, and these were the meekest pass rush statistics since last year at this time against the Bengals. And oh, by the way, it's TJ Watt missed that game too. They missed him. They're 0-5 without him. It's obvious that one great pass rusher can make other pass rushers look better because the attention is where's TJ. And it makes quarterbacks nervous. They hold the ball for a while back there, and it's all of a sudden, where's TJ? I don't know. Is he going to come up from behind? And things get rushed and panicked. There was no panic of Mac Jones last week. And he's the kind of guy that you can beat up. And now it was a better offensive line in New England because you see Cincinnati gave up that kind of pass rush again this week. So their offensive line is hideous, but TJ's most certainly missed. Yeah.
And staying with the defensive line as well, because going even back to last season, the Steelers playing against the run have struggled, and you're coming up against a Cleveland Browns attack of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. How important is even someone like their new linebacker Miles Jack? How important is he going to be in this game to sort of stop their sort of dual-headed attack?
I think he's huge, and they're going to need it. Cleveland was probably had the worst rushing attack against the Steelers last year. Everybody beat up on the Steelers except the Browns, and they should have. And Nick Chubb's a great back. I think they tried to get too smart, Cleveland, and do the opposite of what the Steelers expected. And we saw all year it didn't matter. If the Steelers knew you were running and you ran, you still ran. So this is going to be a challenge. But you're right. Miles Jack is the guy. Also, Ogunjobi played for Cleveland for many years. He's in the middle of the defense. Tyson Alualu's back. If they play a lot of that 3 defensive tackle 4-man front that they played last week, only one outside linebacker to compensate for TJ's loss, that will help against the run. They'll probably use some of that, but it didn't generate much of a pass rush. So I'm not sure how that's going to go down, but those are the options. Yes, I believe they have a chance to stop the run. I didn't believe they did last year. The only reason they did stop the run is because Cleveland stopped it for them.
Could we see then the likes of Mika Fitzpatrick then move up closer to the box in this game, and rather than playing in the backfield?
Well, when they bring when Demonte Casey's healthy, he's on IR for 4 weeks or so. He can handle that ball hawking position. When I notice when Minka moves up, and because he's a linebacker, he can play anywhere, right? You like him up close because he's a threat to blitz even, and he can ball hawk the flats. He can stop the run, but he's such a great ball hawk in the middle of the field and affects quarterbacks back there. I know New England, as the Steelers avoided McCourty, Mac Jones tried to avoid Minka as best as he could. And when Minka crept up in the box and they put different safety back there, Edmonds, they went deep. They went after him. I think they just missed getting a deep ball. Somebody was open. I think Mac Jones missed the guy. So you could see when they see Minka come down, they look deep. So that's even a problem until Casey gets back.
Right. So then I guess this stopped. And but with Jacoby Brissett, and obviously no disrespect to him, but like his ability, but I guess in the possible inaccuracies of his throwing, and could maybe give the Steelers the opportunity to send Fitzpatrick if he can get to him quick enough to cause him to throw some errant balls. But you still have those threats with Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper as well, who had his first good day for the Browns at the weekend. So I think it's a tough thing to do, and maybe like you mentioned, if you maybe switch it around and maybe send Terrell Edmonds up to the box, maybe just to nullify that running attack.
Sure, that's what they'll do, and. But Terrell will have Njoku. I mean, they have a tight end. Cleveland has their threats. But the Steelers, they do have the versatility to move around, as you're suggesting. Minka could be a big factor. Miles Jack can blitz. Devin Bush can blitz. Cleveland center is injured. I believe their second string center is injured too. So, there are some options. But boy, I tell you, it's such a bad spot for visiting teams on Thursday nights. Such a tough, it's not that hard of a trip to Cleveland. It's just a bus ride up the turnpike. But boy, the Steelers have done very poorly at Cleveland on Thursday nights. The one game, Ben, I forget the score. I don't think he scored. It might have been 14-3 final, really cold. It was after beating the Ravens in a real emotional game. They went there and just played horrible and got beat. And then the famous Mason Rudolph getting hit with his own helmet game. That was 21-7. Steelers couldn't generate anything there either. That was a Thursday night game, probably after a Ravens game too. It's just a brutal spot. And here the Steelers were practicing today, no pads. It was total walk-on. And I couldn't blame Tomlin. You got to rest these bodies. Ben Roethlisberger was just saying on his podcast how oftentimes on Thursday, you still don't feel right. You're still maybe ready to take some practice off. Those veterans can get those days off. So playing a full speed, it's going to be difficult. Both teams are going to be motivated coming off losses. So they'll be both playing hard. It just seems to favor the home team for some reason.
Mm-hmm. And then looking at the rest of the season as a whole, we've seen the sort of start that the Ravens and the Browns have had. They both have gotten the win. The surprising team, obviously, the Bengals going 0-2 in their first 2 games, and not looking too great either. All that money spent on the offensive line hasn't seemed to help. Would you still be looking at, and then if we look at the AFC as well for the playoff picture, would you still be thinking that the winner of this division will go on to the playoffs. But do you think even second place will be enough to get one of those wild card spots with the strength of the rest of the AFC?
It's possible. I'd hate to, the Steelers have, there's so much new, and without TJ, I just look at these 6 weeks coming up as just a grind session where you're just hoping the line gets better. You're hoping Najee gets better. You're hoping a run game develops. And if the quarterback doesn't, then it's time for the rookie. That's a development. George Pickens is a new stud receiver. Calvin Austin is yet to appear. He's a 4.3 bullet. They need that kind of injection of speed. That's another process they'll have to go through. Finding another pass rusher, without TJ, they're going to have to find a way to get to the quarterback. So when TJ does come back, this defense will have gone through a new process and will have, just because they had to, they will get better. So I think they're being forced to get better on all fronts. And I'm not sure it'll be in time for this year, but I think this is all for the good. I think it's all working out for them, all how this is positioned, all how everybody has to learn. And we're all going to learn whether Canada is the right guy for this offensive coordinator's job. So maybe, that process grinds through, and that would leave a new process of a new offensive coordinator. But you would have Pickett. Maybe you bring back Mark Whipple, who coached Kenny Pickett at Pitt. He's at Nebraska now. Mark Whipple had pro concepts at Pitt in the passing game. That was a professional passing game at Pitt. He was Ben's first quarterback coach, of course. So, that would be there you go. There's your first rumor mill bit. Mark Whipple for offensive coordinator, because all that stuff's going to start if this offense doesn't magically improve. And I don't look for it to improve greatly. But I do believe that they're going to have to grind in the right spots, and that this team does have championship ability maybe next year. I know nobody wants to hear that. This year just started. I'm not so sure it can come together quickly enough this year. But, boy, they have some nice pieces. I think there's a nice foundation here.
Yeah. Well, look, Jim, I'm a Seahawks fan, and I know I'm already looking forward to next year. I have to, so it's a hard pill to swallow, but look, we'll see. We'll get those draft picks. We'll see what happens, and we can see next year. But look, listen, before we let you go, we should mention as well, of course, if anyone is interested in probably one of the most famous Steelers in Pittsburgh history, and that's Troy Polamalu, and you have his book available that you've written yourself.
Yeah, his biography, and it's been out since November of 2020. It was in time for his Hall of Fame, and I highly recommend it. I'm not saying it's a kid's book, but I believe strongly that this belongs in every 12-year-old's library going forward. It should be a foundation piece for Steelers fans, of course. Hey, all football fans. This guy's a great example, and it's not just a look at how good he was, because he was a good guy. But how he dealt with problems, how he overcame things. It's not so much that he prayed. It's how it all came together, his prayer, his meditation, and his film watching. Of course, his 4.3 speed helped. He just seemed to see it all. And all of those things went into it. And he wasn't the kind of guy that would come up to you and tell you to find Jesus Christ. If you wanted to ask about his spirituality, he would talk about it. But he wasn't in your face with it like some athletes are. And so I don't want you to be afraid that book's full of that kind of stuff, but he's a good guy, and nothing better for a kid than how a good guy did it. And he didn't have a great start. So, but I do have a new book coming out November 1st, On the Clock, The History of the Steelers Draft. A lot of cool stories about how these guys were drafted, all of their Hall of Famers. I go into detail, starting with Whizzer White back in the 30s. So, it's not all old. I mean, we go through the 70s. That was my most difficult chapter. And in the current time, I have all the contacts are still alive. I can talk to everybody about the drafts of late. So I think that's a really good book. It's coming out November 1st.
Excellent stuff, and definitely one for Steelers fans to pick up, especially now with the holiday season coming soon, and with
Yeah,
with the history, of course, that the Rooney family have and the ties they have here to Ireland too.
right.
Definitely something for like the Irish Steeler contingent to definitely pick up this holiday season. Well, look, Jim, we've really appreciated the time. I know it's a short week and it's quite a busy week. I'm really thankful that you were able to take the time to speak to us.
Oh,
For anyone interested in reading some of the articles from the Steel City Insider, where can they find them?
Steel City Insider. You can dial it up, and it's a pay site. But the one article you referenced was free. There are we use a lot of free articles to show you, give you a taste of how good we are. And then we have a lot of fans that pay the money to get insider access, and we're always there. And I think we do the best job. So thank you for promoting my work, and also thank you for having me on. It was fun. You do a good job.
Hi, thank you for watching this latest edition of the Under Center podcast. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch, listen, or even just follow us on social media. We appreciate all the support that we get, and hopefully we can continue to get your support throughout the NFL season. Before we do go, just want to let you know about a prediction league we're running in association with Fanzo. They are an app that we've partnered up with for this season to run a prediction league. All you need to do to take part of it is follow the instructions beside me here. You just download the app Fanzo, go to the NFL tipping game, put in a few details, your favorite team, then go to join a league, and all you need to do is put in the word center, CENTRE, to join the league. We're looking to get about 50 people involved if we can, so that we can get some great prizes at the end of this season for that. So like I said, download the Fanzo app, go to the NFL tipping game, put in some details, put in the code CENTRE, CENTRE, to join our league. Put in your predictions each week, and if you're at the top of the table at the end of the season, you could be in for a very, very good prize. But that is all from this edition of the show. Thank you very much, and until next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.